We are here. It is the final week of the coffee challenge for this entire month's worth of building our soapy knowledge, our cosmetic knowledge surrounding all things coffee and all the benefits that you can get from that awesome little coffee bean. And this week is going to be excellent because this is when the sudsers get to put all of that knowledge to work. And yes, there is another chair in the background because Loki wants to sit here and she's mad that I moved her. So I gave her another chair in case she wants it, and she's not doing that. She's actually right there staring at me, very mad, actually. And so I've made a black cat mad today. I love that for me. I will tell you more about the coffee soap that we are making today in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And as I said, you are here for the final week of the coffee series, and we are going to be doing all of the Project Soapway challenges. Now, for those of you who may not know, what is Project Soapway? Project Soapway is a challenge that we do monthly this year with the sudsers, the membered sudsers, the ones that are in Discord, and all of the things, where we give a brief, and they then have to go make said brief. And so they will make the soap or the cosmetic or whatever it is that we have said needs to be made. They submit pictures. We have a jury that looks at them. They choose 3 winners. And then we do the Project Soapway videos and shout out these awesome sudser creations. But every Project Soapway starts with my bar, because it's my challenge. And sometimes my bars are not nearly as cool as the soaps that you're going to see from the sudsers. And that's actually most of the time. And today is no exception to that. Actually, this particular soap, it ended up super ugly, but it has super amounts of all things coffee. So we are dealing with a coffee infusion in the lye water with the green coffee bean. And so remember that crazy lye solution that I showed you at the beginning of this month? And how orange and wild it got? Yeah, we're putting that one to work today. It's going to have a coffee butter in it. That is the 60-40 blend of shea butter and olive oil with the coffee butter, you know? And we also have the coffee oil in it as well to up the extra awesome. So we have the olive incorporated in that, as well as a caffeine powder. And so there's all kinds of things. And it smells of coffee too, probably. I don't actually know if I did that. But the brief for this month was the sudsers needed to incorporate the coffee in at least 3 ways. So that could be the part of their design. It could be it could be the scent. It could be the ingredients. I really focused on the ingredients, and I hope that they all did too, which you're going to see throughout the rest of this week. But for me, we're going to get to the ingredients. We're going to talk more about this green coffee and give kind of my final thoughts this week on coffee within our soaps and cosmetics and whether or not I think it provides a benefit. And as an extra bonus today, we get to see this baby in action. We're going to do a lather test. So that's a lot to cover. We're going to go do all of that right now. Okay, so today we are doing my Project Soapway soap, as I said, and we're going to get to use the green coffee lye infusion that I showed you the first week of our coffee extravaganza, and that's going to be fun to deal with. But for right now, I have to mix in the kaolin clay, which is going throughout the entirety of the batch because that lye solution was super, super orange, and I'm very concerned that this is all going to get dark. And so I'm mixing in the kaolin clay as well as the caffeine powder. That's what I put in at the end there that you saw me just kind of shake out of my container. And so I am using a caffeine powder for this as well as the kaolin clay. The oils that are in the pot right now are my coffee butter at 50% of the batch. I have 20% coconut oil in there, and the rest is a coffee oil, which is infused in an olive oil. Now, this is, wow, it's definitely oily, So we got a lot of oil out of those coffee, that green coffee for sure. And it is so super dark. It turned bright orange as soon as we put the lye solution, the lye into the water and the green coffee beans that were just hanging out there. And it got that color, which was absolutely fun to watch. And the oil and everything, I did let this lye solution sit for a couple days. I also did measure this, and I don't know if I've said it yet. I weighed this out again after it sat for a couple of days. Now, naturally, you're going to lose a little bit of water in the lye process, and the longer you let it set, the more water you use. It's a very slight amount. It doesn't really matter, especially considering A, water is arbitrary, and two, I soap at 2.4 times the lye, so I always have a lot of water anyway because I make clay soaps, and that is different than just putting a tablespoon of kaolin clay in to make your scent stick. So more information on that in other videos. Anyway, so I did weigh this, and it actually lost like 2 to 3 full ounces of the actual weight. And so I had to replenish a little bit with some extra water at the end of all of this to make sure that I had enough water and everything wasn't going to get super thick. Because again, the aforementioned, I put lots of clay into my soaps because I make clay soaps. So that is something to keep in mind. The green coffee it was taking on a fair amount of the water. Now, what does that mean for the lye? Nothing. It means nothing for the lye. The lye is not going to be part of the whole losing of the weight thing because the lye does not care about the green coffee because it's kind of happy in the lye solution itself because we are also getting oils out of those coffee beans. You know what I mean? So the lye is going to be fine. I'm not expecting this to be a more super fatted bar. That said, this bar is super fatted at 5%. So if I get a little bit more super fat because there was oil within the lye solution extracted from the coffee, it's going to be fine and negligible, so much so that I don't need to recalculate anything anyway. So I'm going to be splitting this into 3 parts just to see what we can work with, what we're going to do with maybe some natural colorants within this coffee and see if it ends up discoloring anyway because of the lye. Okay, and on to the pour. And so my first batch is going to be nothing but just the color that we had. So natural soap, whatever that is after we put in the lye solution, we're doing that. And then for the second round, the second layer of this, I am putting in just a little bit of pink. I think it's strawberry moonshine. I don't care. I have way too many pinks. I'm trying to get rid of it. I just wanted to put in something to see if it would discolor a bit in the middle and what essentially that discoloration would look like, because I don't know what to do. I don't really know what this is going to do. Rather, I've had a really weird experience with these coffee soaps throughout this month's journey. Normally, I don't have any problem getting my coffee soaps white where I want them. But as you saw in the lather test that we did for the first round of coffee soaps, so in week 2 of this month's content, they all ended up discoloring pretty bigly. And for some of them, it made sense because I was using scents that discolor. But for others, it made 0 sense. And so I'm not sure what that actually was. I don't know. I guess I'm probably just using more potent, amounts of coffee in this than I normally do, but it was definitely gremlins in the soap shop for sure. Now with this top one, I did put in a little bit of white mica into it. Typically, white mica doesn't do much in soaps anyway. It's going to be better for dusting or for melt and pour or to do your beautiful mica lines. And it's not really going to change the color at all. I just wanted to get rid of some white mica because I have way too much of that. You buy the full Monty and it actually gives you all of it. And that's not fun for me. I don't like that you get, a bunch of whites and pinks. Or blacks. I never use any of that. Let's check out the cut. Okay, and onto the cut and test of this. Now, I did unmold this less than 24 hours after pouring. And as you can see, there are some differences, but not really what I would expect. The top portion that I put the white mica in is darker than the bottom portion, which I find Very fascinating because the bottom portion had nothing whatsoever in it. And the middle portion is obviously not pink. It wasn't pink when it was going into the mold. So with this right here, it looks like a whole lot of nothing with this lighting or whatnot. And do pay attention to it, to all 3 layers when we do the test, because I was actually surprised how much that middle part discolored. Now, I did not use a discoloring fragrance with all of this. I think I just used like rose vanilla or something from... No, I didn't. This one actually smells weird. It is the lavender, sage, and rosemary from Sierra Candles. So it's very interesting. You do still have that coffee smell that's coming from all of this. You also get a little bit of that shea earthiness, and then mixed with that lavender, sage blend from Sierra Candles. Very fun bar of soap. Very interesting. I don't say that I wouldn't say that I'm in love with it, but it's a moment. It exists. It's not terrible. You know, it's not like milk and honey. No hate to the people who love milk and honey. I don't. But anyway, the cutting of all of this, it's a very firm bar. You saw how shiny it was when it came out of the mold. That is the one thing that I have decided that coffee soaps definitely have a benefit for. Definitely a very shiny bar of soap you're going to get. It's going to unmold without any problems. So those are pluses for soaps. The bubble is interestingly very dense with all of this. So nice creamy lather with all of our tests for sure. And so there's going to be a benefit for that. And then obviously, while this is a rinse-off product, it does still contain, copious amounts of caffeine and all of your antioxidants and all of the jazz. And so you'll have a temporary brightening effect, I suppose, while you're using it. But again, rinse-off product, etc. and so forth. So this is what it looked like right after cutting it. So again, less than 24 hours later. And now let's move on to the lather test, which was done today and 6-ish weeks after it was poured. So this has been fully cured up, and it is no longer losing water weight. And wow, the bottom part that nothing went into is still lighter than the top 2. Very fascinating. And the middle got very, very dark. And I had that pink in there. And look at that lather. Holy crap, immediate bubble payoff right off the bat. With this caffeine inclusion as well, and we will be talking more about the caffeine in the Project Soapway videos, the winners coming up, because a couple of them did use caffeine powders. But with this inclusion, I had like a tingling feeling when I was using it. And I thought that that was very cool. Nice tingling sensation from the caffeine itself, and the lather, absolutely epic. Wonderful hand feel, excellent slip, wonderful, gorgeous bar of soap. I think this one's my favorite. So out of all of the coffee soaps that we've tested so far, this one is by far my favorite. I love it so much. That lather was so beautiful. It almost had like a tingling, tightening effect on my skin. Very, very interesting. And so yeah, like I said in the video, I'm thinking the green coffee bean is really the way to incorporate this the best, I mean, obviously you can use your coffee grounds, you can use your used coffee grounds, but you're not going to get the caffeine from that. I personally, out of all the tests that we have done, I'm thinking that this, just putting in the green coffee into my lye solution, has by far been the best way for me to incorporate this into my soaps with the biggest payout and the biggest yield. But what do you guys think? You remember the lather test that we did a couple weeks ago, so go back and review those if you need a refresher. But out of these, I think 5 or 6 bars that we've tested, which one is your favorite? I've already said mine. Sudsers, thank you for being here. Thank you for existing. Do not forget, this week is Project Soapway, and so we are going to be doing premieres this week. We are going to be showcasing all of our amazing Sudsers and their epic talents. Thank you to everyone who supports and participates in the Project Soapway challenges. Obviously, there wouldn't be a challenge if nobody participated, so that's super epic. Definitely put the like and subscribe and the bell and all the things on, because you're going to want to be here for this week's Project Soapway winners. They are all amazing. Their formulations are incredible. Most of them did multiple inclusions of coffee within their stuff, like 6, 7, a million. It's wild. You're going to want to see it, I promise. So that's what we are doing tomorrow. Everybody else, that's also what we're doing tomorrow. So come back for another round of coffee-infused soapy fun. Bye. Loki. Hey, Loki. You gotta get up. I need to film. Loki. Loki, gotta get up, cat. It's my turn to sit there. Can we find another chair? I know, but you gotta go over here. You can go there. See, that's a fun one. No? So you have to have it your way? Okay.